Hello everyone and welcome back to What If Disney. I got my Lucky Mickey shirt on today, so it's going to be a good one. Today we're wondering, what if Disney brought back A Bug's Life into the Disney parks? We're going to get into two ideas here, so stay tuned. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is just kind of go over what Disney already had in their parks as far as Bug's Life goes. So over in Disneyland, they had for a while what was called a Bug's Land, and that was actually a really cool attraction. I remember going there a lot when I was little, and essentially what they did is just made everything really huge and made you feel like you were a bug, essentially. So, tall birds that cooked grass, really big watermelons and everything. And yeah, it was a really cool land. It had a few rides and everything, a lot of fun, especially for a kid. Yeah, so I wanted to preface just saying that I think if they just kept this idea and re-implemented it in any of the parks, I think it would be phenomenal. Personally, I loved the whole land that was in Disneyland, especially when I was a kid. And yeah, it's not there anymore. They're making room for Marvel Land that's coming to Disneyland. But I think if they could just take this and just throw it in Animal Kingdom, and it would fit in perfectly. I think it would be a great idea for them to do. It makes complete sense. I think it would be a really cool thing. They could also even do something if they want to take it down another notch or something. They don't want to devote a whole land or something. They could just make like a little Flick's Inventions workshop or something, because in the movie he's got that innovative spirit and everything. So they could do something along those lines. I think just a little if they wanted to just scale it down, just go with a little kind of workshop or something like they have for like Flick's Inventions or something. So something along those lines I think they could definitely go with. But let's get into the two main ideas of this video up next. Alright, so the first idea is to kind of mix two existing attractions that I was thinking of. So the first one would be Peter Pan's Flight, and to mix that with kind of a Wild Mouse ride, which is kind of like they have those really harsh twists and turns. I know in my amusement parks, I've always seen those around. There's not one in Disney World, or I don't think in any of the Disney parks, but it's just one of those classic rides that get the sharpest turn they can just to give you that thrill. So yeah, to take the scenery and imagery part of like Peter Pan, something like that, where they take the scenes out of a movie, and to mix that with the thrill that you get from like a Wild Mouse ride. And you could morph those two. I think you can make this into like a Bug's Life ride, where you can shape the vehicle to be like an ant or something, and you enlarge everything around the ant, all the scenery and everything, so you make really tall blades of grass, just make everything huge, and you can make it into a ride where you're going through the scenes of the movie, but maybe being chased by something, some kind of predator, maybe a grasshopper, like in the movie. And the ant is making all these twists and turns like a regular ant would do, just going through like blades of grass. I think this would be really cool. Disney does a great job with these rides in general, like the ones that are inside and they go through the imagery of a movie. Personally, I would love to see this. I think this is a really good option, and I think they could really do a good job with making the objects really tall and like blow them out of proportion to make you feel like an ant as well. Yeah, I would love to see this come to life. I remember in Disneyland, they did the same thing. They made everything really big, so you felt like you're an ant, and when you went into the Bugs Land that I mentioned earlier. And that was always so cool. That was always so cool to see. And I think the Imagineers could do a really good job with this. But without further ado, let's get into idea number two. Alright, so idea number two is to kind of create like a circus attraction, kind of like they do with the Muppets when you have that 3D kind of theater stage with the recording and everything. I think, well, this whole movie, that's part of this movie, is that these bugs were circus bugs that Flick went and found. And so, yeah, I think they could just put on a show, just like they were doing in the movies. Disney could write their own new script for this. Personally, when I was watching the movie, these bugs, they had great personalities. They were engaging to watch every time they put on a show. I mean, even in the climax of the movie, part of the climax was them distracting that grasshoppers with a circus show. So I definitely think this would be really cool to see. I love, like I said, I love the movie, and especially those scenes when they were doing the goofy shows and everything. And yeah, I think you could make a lot out of this for sure. and it would definitely be a great option for Disney to look into as far as like creating a theater theme, because I mean it just fits the movie. That's what they do. They're circus bugs, and yeah, I personally love this idea. I think it could really they could really do a good job with this. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Which idea was your favorite? Or do you have other ideas for Bugs Life? Do you want to see Bugs Life come to the park? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.